Hey everyone, it's Synth Designer back again with another video. Today I want to continue our series on Music Mondays and talk about how to properly set goals for yourself for the new year. Hopefully you all had a nice holiday break, and now I like to think about kind of what's ahead of me for the new year and some of my goals that I've set for myself. And I wanted to kind of talk about how I set goals and hopefully give you some tips on how you can achieve your goals for 2025 or any years in the future. As always, Music Mondays is really meant to be kind of a discussion point, so please feel free to comment below about your goals for 2025, and please provide any suggestions for these Music Monday topics. I plan on doing this about once a month, just general topics on music and what's going on in the music world. But when I think about setting goals, I really kind of divide them into two categories. First, it's soft goals and then hard goals. So what I mean by that is hard goals are very hard targets that I want to meet, while soft goals are kind of more flexible and don't have necessarily a hard target. So for example, last year I wanted to record and release 4 or 5 songs, and I got to that goal. My other hard goal was to get to 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers. I fell a little bit short, got to 2,700, still pretty good. This year, I have changed that up a little bit. I don't feel like I will have the time to write and record 4 or 5 new songs. I'm really more focused on getting a couple songs out there and more focused on just exploring and expanding my horizons for songwriting in general, and just getting the best songs I could possibly get out there. As for subscribers, again, I don't have a hard target this year. I kind of just wanted to see where things take me. I'm always looking to expand the channel, but I am not looking for any specific numbers anymore. So now those hard goals are more kind of soft goals. And soft goals, I mean, they don't need to be specific targets. So say, for example, you want to record some music, but you don't know necessarily how much time you'll have. Well, don't set a hard goal. And that is something I really want to emphasize, is being realistic with your goals. I think too often we set really high bars for what we can achieve, and realistically, we don't account for the time that we have and the other commitments. As many of you, this is not a full-time thing for me. Music is simply a hobby, and I like sharing my hobby with others. And I feel like that's the same for many of you. If you're a professional musician, of course, it's probably easier to set hard targets in terms of music, releasing an album this year or releasing 20 songs, or if you're a mix engineer, doing 50 or 100 mixes, whatever it is. But I think it's really important as kind of a hobbyist to set more soft goals, and that way you don't feel quite as let down if you don't meet your targets. Now, going back to my previous example, I didn't meet that subscriber target that I mentioned earlier. However, I was pretty close, and I was very happy with how things are growing with my channel. And I also learned how I fell short and some of the reasons I did that. And a lot of it had to do with the fact I just simply didn't have time to devote to the channel to release, 2 videos a week. I really try to do about 1 video a week. And that is basically what my goal is going forward. I'm never going to have the time, or maybe I will at some point, but I don't anticipate having the time to release, 2 or 3 videos a week, which will accelerate my growth as well. And not only as a YouTuber, but of course as a musician. So setting soft goals for yourself and setting realistic goals where it's not a definitive number for whatever you have is really important. Whether it's a hard or a soft goal, just make sure that it's a really realistic target that is representative of the time you have. And that is something I wanted to also mention. Think about how you'll achieve these goals and how much time you'll need. So if you have a goal of releasing 5 to 10 songs, think about how long each song usually takes you to come up with and how often you come up with a new song, right? If you only come up with songs every 2 to 3 months, 5 songs might be a good number, but if you're trying to expand up to 10, that's going to be very difficult unless you double the amount of time that you devote to music. It's okay to not have all the time in the world for a hobby and it's okay to take time away from it from time to time as well. And being realistic and thinking about how to achieve those goals is important. The other way you can think about how you can achieve these goals is think about your workflow. Can it be improved at all? Think about how you set things up, whether it's, being more efficient in creating your patterns or being more efficient in keeping track of everything. Maybe focus your time a little bit more clearly. Just think about more specific things that you can do to improve and how you can foresee yourself achieving your goals. It's one thing to set them, but if you don't think about how you can actually hit those targets, then it's going to be problematic. And that is, again, going back to that hard and soft goal setting. If you really want to set out a hard goal of, say, 10 songs, well, what are you going to do to achieve those 10 songs? That's almost a song a month, for example. If you're on the borderline of that, say, and you're releasing, 8 songs a year or something like that, well, how can you get those 2 extra songs? Will you devote a little bit more time? Can you be a little bit more efficient? Can you maybe focus more just on releasing songs versus, say, playing around with presets or just experimenting? Those are all important questions that you have to ask yourself. The last thing I just want to mention is don't be too hard on yourself if you don't achieve these goals. This is, again, going back to my original point of hard and soft goals. If you set too many hard goals and you don't achieve them all, well, that is just a great lesson for the next year, maybe, on giving yourself a little bit more leeway in terms of setting your own goals. Realistically, if you're a hobbyist, it's very difficult to meet every single one of your goals because so many things come up, sometimes anticipated, sometimes not, and that's okay. I mean, this is a hobby. It should be fun, and we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves if we don't achieve them. I know I don't achieve every one of them, and that's okay too. It's a learning experience as you go, and you learn about yourself as much as anything. So keep those things in mind for this upcoming year, and let me know your goals for 2025, whether it's music or not. I'd love to hear all your opinions on it and continue this discussion down in the comments. Thank you all again for your support. Really looking forward to the new year and all the content that is coming, and I'll see you all next time.